with a 0-3 start, it is time to start getting some wins if they want to have any chance to get in the upper bracket. Not to mention, you know, you want to avoid elimination. So this is it's not do or die just yet, but things are definitely not looking as hopeful as they would have liked on the Talon side. And yeah, we'll see how Core Omni Knight works. I think, you know, I feel like they just wanted something that kind of plays and hits a kind of mid-game timing around the Alchemist, since, you know, this Alchemist likely going to go for that early blink, whether it's Radiance Blink or Armlet Blink. I think it's just a hero, or it's apparently Meteor Hammer. He just queues up. Makoto, you're kind of insane. Here we're going to see the third new Alchemist build, maybe. I do not think Meteor Hammer is the build on Alchemist, but maybe he knows something I don't.
We shall see. We shall see. For Savage as well, I just had a read over the Aghanim shard that they changed. I forgot as well his Hammer Purity is pure damage, so maybe this could be, I mean, pure damage is always the way you look to address the Timber Source, so maybe with being able to spam that out inside some of the fights, he could actually be a bit of a threat for the Timber as the game goes on. But this is going to be a learning game for me. I get to see what the hell is up with a carry Omni Knight and a mid Meteor Hammer Alchemist.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see like the new Ag shard as well on the Omni Knight with the upgraded Hammer Purity, giving the heal every 6 seconds. So there's a lot of, you know, potentially new stuff that could come out this game. You know, we saw a lot of Meteor Hammer, at least in the pub games over the last since the new patch hit, but hopefully this isn't going to start a new trend of Meteor Hammers if Makoto goes for this. I mean, Unstable Concocted Meteor Hammer, it sounds like a fun combo, but you just do so much with like a damage item plus Blink Dagger. It just seems way better in terms of kill threat as an out. Yeah,
no, I completely agree. Maybe have a little bit of recency bias there with what Nine was able to do, but we shall see. Ready to learn from Makoto's build as well, but we feel like the lanes over. Well, actually, Q bottom lane is in a little bit of trouble.
Talked about the CMPA lane. They've got the kill threat there always.
Probably gonna find it as well. Q trying to duck into the trees. Can he find a little hidey hole? Yuragi gets a glimpse. Another round of the spells from Kitrak should reward them with first blood. And exactly like you were saying in the draft park of this bottom lane, Yuragi and Kitrak in combination together are going to be able to play very aggressive.
Yeah, it just kind of gets worse once they hit level 2, because this is without Phantom Strike, without Frostbite, and CM. You know, you want to get the PA first blood, but in some ways it's almost better the CM does, because CM having mana is the most important thing in this lane. So immediately Crystal Maiden buys a grenade, Tengos, Mango. I'm like, she just bought like an entire farm.
Yeah, I know.
That's a full courier of items that's about to come out for the CM off of that first blood. And honestly, yeah, I actually think that's better than PA getting first blood.
A lot of value that Kitrak is going to help provide them inside this lane. They got the level 2 advantage as well, so Jabs is probably in a lot of trouble. And in fact, I think he's dead. Another round of the dagger. He's got some stick charges actually to work with, so Jabs is going to be okay. Just able to step on out. Has the Selv as well to repair some of the damage.
And when you're maybe not getting kills, just efficient harass. Although I say efficient, they did take a lot of damage to do that. The impetuses and wild axes spam starting to at least help give Talon a chance in this lane, but once these CM's new items and regen comes out, I think life is going to get tricky once again. But just a small reprise for Talon here, where they're not in too much danger until that regen comes out.
So we don't really need to talk about mid lane too much. I mean, this is a Lesh Alchemist. Maybe there's some kill potential with the Lesh.
I think it's
actually top lane.
Later kind of lane.
What? No way. Alright, Savage and Ollie. That's some perma intel for the Silencer. Getting pretty big brain. And then Savage, that's a big kill onto MC's Timber. And Ollie's going to be able to fresh. Oh, we almost got some couriers as well. Very close.
He just wanted to go for the suicide. If he'd actually seen the couriers coming, maybe he would have held off. But yeah, definitely wanted to die before they TP back in. But that's huge. To get 2 kills there, the carry Omni Knight. I mean, that's one of the things. I feel like nobody's going to, like, the players themselves are probably not quite familiar with how much damage this hero can do in lane. Whether, like, when you try and go on him, it's like, can we kill him or can he kill us? Like, the unfamiliarity aspect, especially if Talon have been spamming the heroes at the pubs, could give them a big advantage in this top lane.
Still is. Bottom lane continues to be a bit of an issue here for Talon. Maybe, I mean, at least you've got the potential for the Beastmaster to be able to easily make stacks for himself. He actually doesn't have a level just yet in the boars, but I mean, we see that is a big way for the Beastmaster to be able to keep up in farm if you do have that rough start. So probably OG are going to even look to try and get some vision down towards a triangle just to maybe contest or even slow down the stack game for Talon.
Yeah, and if they do start sacking Leshrac, by the way, mid lane, mentioned this lane may not have too much happening, but with a Lightning Storm build, Lesh gets very close to a kill.
Makoto's completely bodied out of the lane, though. Looks like BZM's going to go to the left. I thought he might wait around to see where Makoto was going to go, so they'll both be able to get some water runes, though, to heal back up. But, yeah, Parker, he's committed. Well, semi-committed. He's gone the Ring of Health at least, which he can build into some other things, but it's, he's going to be in some trouble. BZM's push back. More bottom lane. Ollie's going to rotate as well. I think they got a glimpse of the silencer, though.
Yeah, it seems like they know they're not going too aggressive. I think, yeah, they had a ward on the twin gate up top, so they saw the rotation. Does seem like teams are really prioritizing these gateway wards just to know when supports make these early laning stage rotations.
They see Io mid. They don't see Tiger at the moment, so it looks like with the extra assistance from the Io, they should probably be able to get the kill onto Makoto. I mean, maybe he can use Concoction and hold back BZM, but you're going to be occupied down bottom, so there will be no TPs to protect the Alchemist. Trying to sidestep. Wait, no, wait, Makoto? Oh my lord, so close to getting the kill, and meanwhile, bottom lane as well. I'll tell them they're going to be able to turn it back around, so even though they do lose Q onto the Enchantress, they will still get a return kill onto Kitrax Crystal Maiden.
Yep. But getting the support trade down bottom, I think you're fine with. It was a 2v3, they get the kill. PA has the cornucopia for that laning stage, sustain, the health and mana regen with damage. The perfect item for a PA. Of course, can build into that Battle Fury, which PA generally loves to buy. And the nice thing about this IO rotation mid is that they're giving Timbersaw solo XP. This is one of the best offlanes to try and give solo XP to. Just give him this pure 1v1 to get those levels, to get the early level 6, and then hope that he can dominate this Omni Knight.
Then again, though, Makoto, another attempt onto his life.
He's
still not playing with the level. Okay, there we go. They've got the 6 now. Extra little bit of damage. Nice sidestep from Makoto. He's still going to need some assistance. They might just turn to Ollie instead. I mean, this is a much easier kill, but both the Talon supports have had plenty of time to be able to rotate. So cute. Oh, he's not going to get Kitrax. Steps over to the tree line, playing with the Fog of War perfectly. As BZM, he's got the Arcane Boots as well to freshen up a little bit. So more mana to look to work with, and that's going to result in a double kill. He's under the tower, so with extra minus armor, BZM's probably going to end up going down. So Makoto, no, he's going to be pretty happy with the exchange, the fact that the Alchemist gets some much and needed gold.
Yeah, couldn't quite get the tower aggro off. I didn't think Lesh was going to dive it, but with the Arcane Boots and the Tether, he just instantly got like 400 plus mana, so at least he's a Lesh Aya combo. Some great synergy between the two heroes, but overstepping and overstaying their welcome a little bit in the mid lane with the aggression there from the Leshrac, and it does get punished. The Alchemist Meteor Hammer not far off. I'm curious how this one works. I mean, obviously, I think we know how it works, but whether or not it's going to be effective is another question.
Yeah, that's the big thing. So real quickly with the Omni Knight, I did check Savage's Dota Pro tracker. He's only played one Omni game that I can see, unless he's got some secret account, but he went Phase Boots, Echo Saber, Blink, Ag Shard, and then Sunjin Kaya. Yep. So it looks like he's got pretty much all those items queued up. Mid lane again. Actually, action continuing to break out. This time Makoto, with the help of the Chemical Rage, he's going to be able to shrug off a decent chunk of the damage from BZM. So it's another kill onto the IO.
MC top is honestly just getting kind of bullied here. Anytime he comes close, he's just getting hit by that pure damage from the Hammer Purity. But back at mid, CM gets away back to safety.
They just can't touch BZM though. They're trying to deal with all the supports, but that means the Lesh can just easily chase down some of the Talon members, and now Tiger's here to be able to buff him up once again.
Yeah, they really want to try and get some early pressure here. They don't have any points in the Edict yet. He's gone for 3 points in the Lightning Storm. Hasn't got the 4th point yet, I think. Yeah, let's say probably time to start leveling up Edict. You know, with all these rotations, you want to be able to turn kills into objectives, so they're now pinging top. They're actually making a very quick rotation north with the regen rune. This should be telegraphed here with the Observer Ward scouting out the move, and yeah, it does look like 23 on the Omni is going to get out A-OK.
He's going to come bottom. Maybe there'll be kill threat onto Yuragi. Let's see. They have the potential to level up the Raw. Yuragi's going to be able to read it pretty perfectly, though. Oh, dude, this blur oh, it's so dumb, dude. It's so dumb. 600 down to 400 radius that you have.
It's such an absurd spell, but I mean, it just fits the motif of let's create more ways to... I mean, it creates ways to stop ganks, but it also gives you ways to
mid
gank.
lane.
That's not gonna work. This is the combo. Well,
Savage is here as well.
Yeah, they're bringing numbers here, wanting to use these early Omni Knight levels to get involved. This is giving MC a completely free top lane where he's just going to take this tower if nobody comes up to address it. He'll just keep dragging creeps to the neutrals and over time just whittle away at this top tier 1 tower. But similar story mid. Makoto's just going to keep being a pest with the Meteor Hammer, and with the Omni rotation, they don't really have heroes that fight into a level 7 Omni Knight here. The maxed out Hammer Purity, 3 points in Purification, easy tier 1 mid, so well worth the trade of giving MC the top tier 1.
They smoked underneath that ward as well, so OG, for confirmation of what Talon are looking to do across the map, MC should be able to get the tower and just get out.
Oh,
maybe? They're going to be able to cut him off. It's not easy, though, to get that initial stun, and looks like Timber's going to be okay.
Yeah. He'll fall back. The healing lotuses. So making himself even harder to kill now with a Vanguard. He's pretty damn tanky. And yeah, the issue with Talon is they can't just they took the mid tier 1 tower, but they can't just abandon this mid lane now because Leshrac will happily take the tier 1 mid right back if you don't keep somebody here to defend it. So as much as Alchemist wants to become this super active hero with Unstable Concoction plus Meteor Hammer, you kind of have to keep defending mid.
But Mass Tip is down to the bottom lane. Jab's going to be able to turn it back around with a Roar. But BZM, he's going to be okay. Tiger tethered up the Leshrac so they can repair all the damage and continue to chase down Talon deep under the tower as they need more rotations. Finally, it's going to come out off the back of Q. They won't be able to get enough health back from Savage. The Purification was cooldown for a little bit too long. Makoto's going to funnel in towards the later stages of the fight. He might be able to get the kill onto the Crystal Maiden, but what else afterwards? You've got MC here. Timber is completely out of mana, though. And well, now it looks like with BZM here, they definitely will be able to find Makoto. Jabs, he's up on the bridge, but there's nothing he can do. He's going to watch his teammate die from the high ground as OG. They'll still get the Yuragi kill, ticking out inside the Acid Spray. Another round of the Axes as well. Tiger easily able to sidestep, and now Jabs, maybe he stepped a bit too far forward. BZM once again wants to continue to get up in the face of Talon. A stun from afar. Easy way for them to close the distance as OG... Beautiful fight for them to take, coming out on top inside the skirmish. Talon, they're back alive and looking to chase them away from the bottom tower, but I don't know. What's really stopping OG from going back?
They've got an IO mech already, and with the Arcane Boots, everyone just gets fully healed, health and mana, so they're just always ready to fight on the OG side.
Gotta be cautious, though. Concoction's gonna be able to set up for the Meteor Hammer. They need to deal with the IO. BZM's just shrugging off all the damage, and that's gonna enable MC to dive through the middle as well. This is IO 101. You kill the ball light, then you kill the rest of the other members. The going for BZM is going to be disastrous for Talon.
Yeah. Honestly, Leshrac, insane damage output that game, but what probably is most insane is how much damage he takes without dying. He just absolutely soaked up all the damage. Obviously, Io's the one healing and keeping him alive, but...
He's got a Bloodstone? Oh my god.
He's so ridiculously farmed, and Io as well, having a mech already, combine this with even just stuff like Arcane Boots meant, Lesh is a hero that quickly runs out of mana, but when Arcane Boots you get the double Arcane Boots from the tether, it's just absolutely monstrous in these fights.
Jesus Christ, dude. Less me even mention he has a Fated Brooch as well, so probably that and Fairy's Trinket is the better ones for him to have, and he's halfway to Kaya. Yeah. You need to make some monster plays on Talon, and maybe off the back of this MC kill bottom, but...
They don't have it.
They're back bottom! They're here! Relocate down! A teleport as well from Kittrack, and Jabs is just in a heartbeat, surrounded by the OG members, and Talon, they're still trying to poke from afar with the impetus from Q, but he's only level 5. Doesn't even have the impetus maxed out. Always going to be cleaned up on the backline as well. And this is just a beat down. OG once again are obliterating their opponents.
Yeah, this just feels like the true classic OG Dota 2, where it's just like run an enemy, kill enemy, just slay, slay, slay. There's no pause, there's no downtime. They're always ready to take a fight. If Talon try and, like say, okay, let's go, for a smoke move, or let's go for a kill in this hero that seems alone, the entire OG team is more than happy to show up. They're bringing 5 heroes to every single fight that breaks out, and we're only like, 10 to 15 minutes in this game. This is usually the part of the game where a lot of teams will have like one core somewhere farming. No, PA's been in a ton of these kills as well. 6 of the 17, not like a huge amount, but it's at least, it's something. And OG are just getting so far ahead as a result of this, particularly the Leshrac, who is, I'm not sure how they address the IO Lesh at this point in the game.
Dude, how do you address the IO Lesh? How do you address the PA late game as your win condition? How do you address MC's Timbo, who's 5-1-3 and is working on a Scepter? So you're going to have this barrier, which I don't truly know how strong it is, but a lot of people saying it's busted, a lot of people saying it's maybe a little bit underwhelming. I don't even know what you do on Talon to come back into this game. That you do not have an Alchemist who is, again, he's gone Meteor Hammer Solar Crest. This is a utility Alchemist.
It is, yeah, there's no scaling there, and there's also no reliable initiation there, not having the Blink Dagger. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, the Armlet Blink build, you have better scaling and better initiation. Like, I thought you'd go, like, Meteor Hammer, then, like, Blink Dagger, but, he's looking to really get this minus armor synergy with the Acid Spray for the Unstable Concoction, but this is taking a lot of damage here. Bit of a bait, maybe.
No way. Let's see, the Global Silence going to be able to prevent that.
Yeah.
So they should be able to get the kill onto MC as a result. That's a much needed kill. It's unfortunate that Ollie's going to be the one that gets it. But nonetheless, you're able to get a kill on the board for Talon. Potentially shove out bottom. And of course, relocate's now down as well. So maybe it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for OG to defend this tower.
I like this approach, saving global for the relocate.
Groggy? They've got Roar and they're still nearby. Tiger's going to be able to protect you for the moment, but the concoction will fly over the top. The Talon, yeah, they're so hesitant. As soon as they see BZM show up to the fight, and look at the backstab. Oh, Kitrak. Beautiful placement with the freezing field. Stops multiple escape avenues and a well-deserved tip as well. Kitrak, a great ultimate from him.
Yeah, just OG firing on all cylinders here. Going from one kill to the next, the only kill they're giving up. Okay, you global to stop out, relocate in to save. We'll take the fight at our tower. Like, I think they had this idea that they'd stop the IO Leshrac from relocating in so they could take a fight without them, but, that's a tier 1 tower. They'll happily TP in to take that fight, and, 16 minutes in, tier 1 bottom tower is still standing.
They're diving Savage as well. What's going to stop them, man? It's just 5 heroes onto a T2 tower, 16 minutes in. Nothing they have to fear at all from OG. It's a masterclass performance from them. What a... Dude, they have to be sky high right now with the start they've had in the group stages. Their confidence is through the roof.
Yeah. And a bit of the same approach to the last game where it's like, let's just pick these lanes. Like, specifically their safe lanes, these side lanes where it's like, we have this advantage. We have this kill lane. Like, they have the CMPA. Last game, they had the ability to pressure the Slark in the side lane. So it just feels like Talon are getting bested a bit in the laning stage and put in these positions where they have to recover, and there's all this pressure on Makoto to be a big playmaker, but it's just almost too much weight on his shoulders. Oh, they scan out the PA.
Okay, nice little sidestep. Yuragi's going to be able to dodge the danger. Back to farming he goes. Anti-Style is going to be the second item, I should say, after the Battle Fury. So, very interesting. Okay, it looks like mainly for the Global Silence I'm looking at.
Yeah. And I think, obviously BKB's lost some value with the changes, or still a good item, but Mantis, this kind of nice hybrid item where, it's defensive, has, some utility use, but also does give you some pretty good damage at the same time as well with the stats.
And they're not going to slow down on her gene. You wouldn't blame them as well with how far ahead they are, and you've just 11,000 net worth lead. It's just tower to tower now for them. They can easily group up. Glyph is only going to give them moments peace here for them continue to knock onto the high ground. I guess for Talon, we're looking at Jabs having a scepter pretty shortly for the Beastmaster, so let's see what they can do with that. I mean, Makoto does have a blink queued up as well, so maybe that's going to potentially give them an angle to start some of the fights.
Oh, he's okay. I thought he stuck around too long to farm another creep wave, but they just don't have the catch. There's no, like, blink initiation. I'm seeing, like, an Alchemist come in. I'm expecting him to, like, channel off a stun and blink in, but he hasn't gone for that blink dagger, and I think that's completely new to this Talon draft. Like, they've just got no way to make a play to get them back in this game without a blink dagger on one, well, really their only initiator in the Alchemist.
So I'd say it feels like I don't know if it's, would you say it's wrong, like one last fight for Talon with the status of this game?
I mean, they're going to churl it up. Like, they've got the Ags on the Beastmaster. They're just going to be playing things slow and safe. But we'll see. They're looking to try and scale with some of these item pickups. You know, the Alchemist has the Radiance speed up again. I'm curious to see if he goes to the Blink or the Radiance first. But once they see Aegis picked up on OG, they're probably thinking, like, we can't fight them at all. Let's just split push, avoid fights, you know, farm the map passively. But realistically, I don't think they can come back in this game. Like, they're playing carry Omni Knight. This is not a traditional carry. He's kind of playing more that utility hero with the pipe queued up. You've got a mid laner who's also kind of more utility than scaling, and the Alchemist with his build, although he is trying to scale with Radiance, so none of their cores are really trying to carry this game with their item builds. Like, they're trying to correct the previous issues, but it almost feels like it's too late when you look at what OG have.
Because you're going to have a 5-man starting to run you down now. T2 Tower probably next on the list here for OG. They're going to be able to address all their lanes, make it very easy for them to be able to close out this map. I think even Kitrak just bought a gem as well, so it's going to make it even more difficult for Talon to be able to get the read on where they can safely position.
Well, right now, knowing that all they can do is sit behind some of these towers, maybe even be forced into the high ground. You say one last fight, they're going for that one last fight. 5-man smoke into the Aegis, but I think this is perhaps they're feeling desperation time. Can they bring down a Lesh? I just don't know how you do that with an Io scene behind him. It just seems like an impossible, daunting task with 20 Holy Locket charges, a mech. There's even a medallion on the Io. There's just way too much to say. Not to mention greater healing Lotus, so he's got all these Lotuses too.
Alright, they're going to start on the Crystal Maiden. That's an easy kill for them to start. A bit of a freebie now for Talon. But let's see if you're going to be able to deal with all the other components that OG are playing with. The Global Silence going to come out early on. BZM's taking a decent chunk of damage, but the Yule Scepter at the last second. BZM will still go down, and hang on a second, Savage. Oh, they'll be able to catch him off over the left side as well as Yuragi. He's still in fighting shape. Q's going to be able to TP out as Makoto will cover him. He too will be able to also escape as well. Nice read from him. So, alright, Talon, a decent fight at 2 for 3.
Yep. They can't deal with the Timber or the PA. They just don't have the damage. I mean, not to mention the PA having 2 lives, of course, but you kill the Io and suddenly Lesh actually can go down. Like, doing a great job there of prioritizing the Io, obviously running into the CM first, and you kind of just have to let the CM die if you're OG. You can't afford to use Tether on CM and put it on cooldown so that your Lesh track is kind of stranded. So, good job by Talon to kind of prioritize the right targets. First the CM, then the IO, and then you can deal with the Lesh track once you take away all that healing.
Dude, poor Ollie. I didn't recognize he bought back last fight, so that's a dieback for him. I mean, Yuragi's very far away. They might need to relocate him to try and protect him. They're not even good. Dude, they don't even get close to killing him, honestly. Half health and he was okay.
That's... considering how deep he is on the map, like mostly alone, that is a bit of a feels bad man, and OG just heal him right back up and will maintain their presence on this dire side of the map, farming their Ancients and really controlling everything on this map.
And they're just... every corner of the map, they've got vision as well. They're scouting out Makoto. They've even got a glimpse of Q as well, hugging the Elk, so they're well aware of where Talon are looking to try and get just a little bit of farm, and it's like Q will be able to force back up at the high ground, but BZM's not going to stop there. They just want to try and finally deal with the tier 3 towers.
No, there's no global, or at least for a few more seconds. It will be up soon, so if they want to force that fight, doing it with global, where you can maybe limit some of the save potential. Stop that CM freezing field as well, which can be pretty powerful with the shard.
Odo. Looking for the charge up. MC's got this barrier though.
Yeah.
So they're going to be forced to avoid it. They're going to go in afterwards with a roll, but the global silence as well. MC is going to end up going down to start the fight, but Talon did have to commit very heavily, and now Yuragi, he's got nothing much to really fear. Wait, Savage, look at the damage. All right. EA's forced to jump away. Savage going to try and chase Kidrak down as well, and what's going on? We're seeing the Omni Knight, if he's really able to get some right clicks off, maybe the Hammer of Purity as well. It looks like he does a decent amount.
Yeah, in that fight, the Beastmaster did 5k damage as well, just dishing it out with all his spell spam.
Very interesting engagement. That caught me off guard with how much damage they're able to do. Yeah. So, let's see. It's a lot of it is, again, is going to come off the back of the global silence. And the big issue is with how long of a cooldown you're working with the ultimate. Like, that's the thing. You can just try and blow one person up. But now you've got an 80-second window, 70-second window with global silence on cooldown. So OG can just look to play aggressive once again on the map.
Really, I mean, maybe there's something in this ag build with the Beastmaster. The drums giving him just all this kind of crazy damage in a teamfight in an AoE. They do pick up the silencer once again, but perhaps Beastmaster is someone that you can't just ignore in the fight. He's going into a BKB next, so if he can just stand in this fight, cast his spells, do some right-click damage, like, the drums of Slom can really add up.
Dire are scanning.
Yeah, it's a item build that people are continuing to experiment with. I'm seeing some more of like the mid Beastmasters go down this route, but I was forced in this game specifically to work into it. So let's see what Jub is able to do. I mean, he's got a decent amount of farm considering that the status of this game. It's just, I mean, again, this is an Alchemist lineup and you're playing with such a large deficit. I mean, usually you're the team that got the one with the big net worth lead. So you're just in a position currently for Talon to play the top edges of the map. I mean, in your bottom, we see Savage being able to find a little bit of farm. We even see Makoto as well.
Yeah.
Trying to be able to deal with some of the creeps. So it's still going to be a very, very difficult way to re-enter this game.
I think they saw the Alchemist there. They seem to be trying to maybe fish and hunt him down, but doesn't look like they're going to catch on to him. OG just playing the map more efficiently too, using the fact they have a relocate so they can keep the IO Leshrac top, a couple other heroes around mid, showing no signs that they want to, try and group up and force another fight. No need to with, next Roshan up in the next 5 minutes or so. Much better of them to just play kind of grouped up once they get the next age. So for now, they'll go back, get the Tormentor, get themselves a Wisdom Rune, so...
They know where they are now, though, from Talon, so they're probably going to try and race them to get up to this high ground to have this power position for the fight. They've got the Hawk as well to scout out. Kidrak's going to be in a great position to pop the smoke, and they're going to be able to reposition accordingly thanks to this, as Kidrak will be the initial person to go down. Global Silence going to help them out. They'll turn to BZM as well. It's a decent chunk of the damage of the Leshrac early on, but he's going to be able to... Oh, he doesn't shrug it off. In fact, now Tiger's in trouble as well. Talon, once again, they're going to turn to Yuragi. The impetus damage starting to stack up from Q. It's going to be enough. Talon, have we got ourselves a ball game here? What is going on?
We sure do. There's just some insane amounts of damage coming out from these cores that you just don't think of as damage deals. Again, Beastmaster leading the damage dealt, did half the damage of that entire fight. 6,500 damage on Beastmaster. He just is melting through some of these heroes here and making sure that, like, Leshrac even had the IO, like, tethering him and healing him up there, but he just looked like absolute paper with how much damage he was taking. So there is suddenly a lot of hope here in the late game for Talon. If anything, it looks like, if they can get themselves like the next Roshan or something, this game can very quickly swing in their favor. Yeah. Beastmaster, he's realizing how much damage he's doing in these fights. Has the Kaya and Sanj queued up, wants to just keep getting more and more spell amp. And Roshan will be up in 20 seconds time, so Aegis in hand could be a real game swinger for Talon.
And you see instantly, OG, they're queuing up BKBs. You've got one component on the Phantom Assassin. Leshrac is still a little bit away, so there is now a window for Talon. You're still going to get a couple of more fights where you can potentially swing this game off the back of the no BKBs on OG, and Well, with... Oh, did they get a glimpse of Roche? The Hawk just died. You'd love to force an issue again. You want to be taking fights now before these BKBs.
Yeah, doesn't seem they're aware of. If they are, they're not heading that direction for now. And one of the things that maybe OG need is a way to... I mean, getting these BKBs to purge off Global Silence is great, but yeah, even just to block all this AoE damage coming in from the Beastmaster Ags as well. No way for the IO to get out of the Global Silence has also been an issue in some of these fights. Like, they get initiated on, and then IO can't really save that target because he's just silenced.
Ollie's been exceptional, actually, with the Globals, so...
Yeah.
He's going to be the first one that goes down, but that is kind of the issue with OG's lineup, I suppose. Like, if we look at it, they do really lack ways to gap close onto the backline, and well, now you're going to have the Aegis to work with this as well, so who do they give this one to? It's going to be 23 Savage that takes the second life, and Cheese is going to be given over to Jabs.
I would say interesting choice. It feels like, if anything, Omni's like priority 3. Like, you can see in the net worth, obviously, but even just looking at his items, it's like he's like the utility area here, so I'm a bit surprised to see he gets the Aegis. At the same time, I don't think... if anything, I think Beastmaster is probably their best... their carry at this point with what he's doing in these fights, but he's got a cheese at least, so he's got some extra sustain, not to mention the mana can help him as well.
Well, the big thing now for OG is Urag... speaking of Urag, you're just going to jump 23 Savage, and he needs some assistance, and be forced to expend the Guardian Angel. So now that is another big ultimate that is not going to be available for a fight, just to limit the PA's effectiveness.
Well, that's OG still not feeling afraid despite playing into an Aegis and Cheese. They're still playing in the enemy Ancient, still playing aggressive there with Uragi, forcing out the Guardian Angel as you mentioned, and they're looking for that next fight. This time around they do have BKB on PA. Leshrac opting for, it looks like, an Aghanim Scepter instead, so going for that Nihilism, going a bit, you know, greedier in some ways. But Talon feeling like go time for them, you know. I think there is still an aspect where, yeah, they're scaling okay, and like Enchantress, even as support, is getting some good late game right-click damage, but they still don't really have a true late game carry. So with this Aegis and Cheese, I do think they want to try to get as much as they can out of the map and try and force some fights.
See what they're able to do off the back of this maneuver. There might be a... Well, they see Tiger farming this lane. Looks like they're going to be just happy with the IO kill. A quick and easy maneuver from them to give them an advantage as a 4v5. So now you got 50 seconds to potentially do something across the map. Maybe this T1 tower top is a good start.
Yep.
They got a glimpse of Uragi with the Hawk. Makoto's going to be off the mark with the blink, though. Uragi sidestep down to the lane, so not going to be able to dispel the blur.
Yeah. I like that Makoto didn't end up buying this Radiance. He's just going fully in on, you know, this kind of physical damage build, the AC kind of being queued up, the BKB for the team fight presence and survivability. But yes, to go back to the Meteor Hammer, definitely have not felt the impact of this Meteor Hammer.
Have not indeed. Again, somehow this is resembling a game that might go a little bit further on here with the status we have. 9,000 net worth lead. They've done a pretty good job to claw this one back, and some momentum is definitely building for Talon, but it also feels like one fight could just completely crumble their lineup and it could just all fall apart instantly. Yeah.
One fight, kind of either way in a sense, but it feels like OG, like, you know, they've been losing a few fights and can probably afford to, you know, lose a few more just because, you know, they do have that better late game scaling. Like, PA is kind of the best carry out of the 6 cores in this game. You've got an IO to kind of back up the PA to really buff up the damage and survivability. Even heroes like, you know, Leshrac theoretically are going to scale much better the more this game drags on. So I just feel like there is a bit more wiggle room for the OG side. And that's why they're, you know, they are happy to play a bit defensive, especially now that Aegis is in Talon's hands. They're just like, okay, let's give them some space, let them do their thing. They'll take the tier 1 top, take tier 2 top even. We'll be ready to fight them once this Aegis and Cheese wears off, as well as once we maybe get another big item or two, because, you know, there's way less pressure on OG to do anything with the current game state.
Yeah, and probably that big item they're looking for is the Nullifier on Uragi, which he had queued up before he DC'd. I imagine he's going to re-queue it again, and that just completely mitigates a lot of the effectiveness from the Omni Knight inside the fights. I mean, really, you've got a pipe now on Savage. He's even got a Mage Slayer queued up as well, so you're looking to address the the Leshrac, and I even think Mage Slayer is also a little bit of spell damage as well, so kind of timber there. And then you got the Guardian Angel too, which reduces the effectiveness from PA. So that's where at least the Nullifier is able to come into play. But if you put all your attention on the cores, then that means Ollie can get Global Silence off, and that means Q, I mean, he's getting some items as well. This is a Hurricane Pike. He's going Shadow Blade next as well. So if he can freely right-click, who knows? This Enchantress could pump out a lot of damage as well.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely see it. Because it feels like there's so many things to prioritize. I just think Enchantress is going to be like bottom of the list. And then all of a sudden, there's going to be this Ench just sitting back, throwing all these impetuses into the middle of the fight. So it's definitely something that could go unnoticed in a fight and cause a lot of problems if you're not careful, because none of these heroes really jump the backlines, as you touched upon earlier as well. So not just the Silencer, but even the Enchantress, who can just sit back in position, you know, can dish out big amounts of damage.
All right. Was unfortunate, so some issues going on. Apparently, maybe with the OG setup, should hopefully be able to get that one fixed pretty shortly, but let us see. We're closing on some pretty big items here as well. I think mainly the one, I know you mentioned it before, but the Assault Cuirass, because I'm just looking at all their armor, and they're just such low armor. 17 on Savage, Jabs is 20, Makoto 16 as well, so you need this armor to be able to potentially survive that initial burst.
Especially, yeah, against a late game PA. Even like 23 has got the Shivers guard queued up, recognizing like, yeah, just the casual plate mail, and definitely the Shivers can really do a lot for myself as well as my teammates. Particularly, you know, they don't know about a potential nullifier, and obviously even PA may not be getting one anytime soon, but it could theoretically come out, and once that can negate the Guardian Angel, you don't have that defensive option for keeping yourself and your teammates alive.
Man, I tell you what, I really did not think we'd be in this position where we're 32 minutes in and it's only a 9,000 lead now. Like, this is... game is getting to a territory where it's like, maybe Talon know a little bit more on how they can play with this draft. I mean, potentially OG haven't versed to an Omni Knight carry and, you know, too much of this Beastmaster item build as well. It's definitely new territory for them. Yeah.
I mean, I thought the game was just over at like, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes in. Even looking at the graphs, I think it got as high as 95% win probability around the 22-minute mark, and now it's back to 75. Like, this game, it does feel like OG's still in the better position, but it feels like 70-30 or something with how these recent fights have gone. But yeah, I thought this, 20 minutes in, I'm like, okay, game, just this Lesh is out of control. The PA's been free farming. There's no comeback potential, but as soon as Jabs got the Ags, Talon just won back-to-back team fights and got an Aegis, and yeah, we've got ourselves a game out of nowhere, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, because a lot of the games we've had today have been a little bit more one-sided. Again, a lot of the games overall. We've got some stellar ones so far as well that we've been seeing on a couple of the other streams. So, I mean, with how this is shaping up, we could get a very crazy one to close out our night over on the B stream. Continuing to have some issues, though.
Yeah, Yuragi PC or something technical, forcing him to pause and reconnect a few times already. Talon have opted to go for this 5-man smoke here. They've got 2 minutes left on Aegis, so it is a good time for them to try and force the issue. It's very much a question of where do they go and how do they find and connect onto kills here. And, well, the one kill they see is BZM. They see his Leshrac in the mid lane, so they likely are just going to make a beeline for BZM to try and get that kill.
They are quite separate from him as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if
he's got a blink dagger, so he can always, like, it, especially after a pause like this, you kind of lose what often happens. You just lose that kind of flow of the game and game sense of like where they might be. Like, you're probably trying to tell each other, like, you know, stay focused, like think of where they could be, what moves they're making. They're all 5 missing, like they could be 5-man smoke. So, you know, you're thinking about which parts of the map they could be. So if you're BZM, like, the safest thing to do after a pause like this when 5 heroes are missing is just like blink into some trees and TP out. So we'll see if he does that, because yeah, he's under a ward. He doesn't know that, but he could very quickly and easily get picked off here, and just, you know, one of those pause things where everybody kind of just loses track a little bit.
I mean, I just saw before in the play cams with the pause going on, MC was having a bit of a chuckle, so Obviously, in the camp of OG there, laughing, trying to get through that pause time. And I tell you what as well, there's going to be, I hope, and I imagine there will be, because OG are very good at this, I imagine there's going to be a lot of content coming out. 2 stand-ins with an incredible, with a potential, I don't want to jinx or anything like that, but the run so far, like, I mean, we already saw the Seb documentary. I don't know if you watched any of the voice comms they released with that Fnatic game as well, but this is could be exciting to see some of the content we got with MC and Kitrak now.
Yeah, I like how Seb didn't stand in for this one. He probably felt like, man, we just made a documentary about, like, you know, my last ride standing in, winning, you know, majors as a standing. He's probably like, I can't do this again. Like, he's just chilling in Div 2, you know, playing some fun games. But yeah, it's crazy how it's worked with OG, just making any and all rosters work, even with limited prep time, playing majors with multiple stand-ins here, or, you know, single stand-ins in the past. You know, there's just something about this org and this group of guys, you know, really, like, you know, Notel and Seb, the 2 masterminds behind it, even now that they're no longer, you know, on the team directly. It's just, they make whatever situation they find themselves in work. Like, that's how it always, that's how, going back to their first TI win, that's what it was. It was like the OG magic, and it just has carried on.
Yeah, do we feel like that's really just the dynamic of OG as a whole, just like the infrastructure behind them is a big reason for that success?
Yeah, I think the infrastructure and just the culture, which I guess is part of the infrastructure, but I think it's kind of like something different to me. Like, they just have, I think, when it comes to team culture, like, I would say OG and probably Liquid have, like, the 2 best team cultures in, like, all of Dota. Just with how they operate, how the team seems to always have each other's back. I mean, it's kind of unfair to the other teams, because I think that applies to all these other teams as well, but I think the other teams have learned from OG how to do things. Like, basically, OG laid the blueprints of, like, what makes a good team outside of the game, but outside the game then has the impact on inside the game as well. So yeah, it's definitely everything kind of happening behind the scenes, and the way, you know, people like Seb and Notel have just mentored all these players. Anytime, you know, you talk about all this content they put out, and you see the players around like Seb and Notel, like, there's this kind of respect, but also this, like, camaraderie, and, like, you really see that they're not, like, they don't feel like, oh, you know, I'm young, like, you know, I know more than you guys, like, you know, I'm like this young hotshot. They really do, like, listen to those guys.
Yeah, they were kind of the first organization, right, with the sports psychology. They brought on, at least maybe it was someone else beforehand, but at least for them, it was really the first big org that had a lot of success with it. And now we've seen over the years prior to the victories of TI that teams are, I mean, Tundra did it as well just before their recent TI success, and I don't know how much they attribute that to getting a psychologist on to help out, but they are, like you said, I mean, everyone looks up to them. These are some boys that have been in the scene for such a long time, and they're able to grow these young talents as well. With, I mean, you see Uragi, Space, wasn't well known, BZM as well. They just blossom into some incredible players, and it's nice to see OG back in a winning position. We're going to keep in mind as well, like, this was a team that they almost did not make it to the major. They had a horrible start to the second tour. I mean, of course, made some roster changes as well with DM coming in. Unfortunately, it's sad that, you know, the full roster's not here currently, but they were just able to make it through the crazy tiebreakers as well, which is just a separate thing. So the fact that they're here and looking as strong as what they are, so this is again another thing to attribute to them.
Yeah. And what? Not got the 2-0 just yet. On the other side, Talon, I mean, speaking of, you know, success stories when it comes to different orgs, I think when it comes to SEA, Talon have been doing everything right. They, you know, they made some roster changes post-TI, but they've stuck with this team and, you know, stuck with the core of their old team, made some small adjustments, and have definitely been on the up and up, and have really, you know, basically cemented themselves as the new kind of top team in SEA. It used to be like Fnatic and Boom, who were fighting over that spot, you know, all throughout. Basically, you know, the previous DPC season, those were always the 2 big names, and then Talon just, you know, slowly grinded their way up. They came out through open qualifiers. They played that first Div 2 with Fly on the team, didn't get promoted. They had bad results, so they, you know, replaced him. You know, they go from going from Div 2 to Div 1 and then go to a major, like, right away. Like, it's just been this steady improvement, even though they've made roster changes along the way. I feel like they're an org that's just doing everything right when it comes to how they're operating a team in SEA.
I do want to quickly update everyone. Well, I don't particularly have an update with what's going on, so just so people know we're not hiding it. I'm not quite sure what the issue currently is for Uragi. Hopefully we'll be able to work that out. But I wonder, because one of the big, I think, criticism for Southeast Asia was their lack of experience with captains. That was a big thing. I mean, you take a look, we can have multiple examples for Western Europe. You got Poppy, you got Kuroki, you got No-Tail. The big three, you can list others as well now, but Southeast Asia, they didn't have that. And you bring in Ollie, which is, he has a incredible backing behind him with the experience over in China and everything he was able to gain with Invictus Gaming. And now you bring him in, and that's what Southeast Asia's been lacking. You've got that, you've got X-Nova now in Boom, who I think we're going to see. Hopefully they have a resurgence once again. They looked incredible in Division 2, but I think that's just the one thing that's been lacking for C, and Ollie was able to fix that for them. Another big reason why they were able to, again, have that third place finish at the recent major. Yeah,
it definitely gives some hope for the region, although I feel like, there's been a few majors recently where it's like, oh, this team could really rep SEA, and they, never quite lived up to those expectations. But yeah, third place at the recent major was definitely the biggest showing in quite some time, since maybe some of those big T1 results. Yeah, we're back in Dota. Both teams gonna try to figure out what's going on.
It's gonna be fast with the reaction. EZM's able to get the blink away. There's still gonna be stun, so they'll have time to relocate down. Global Sun's gonna be cancel that, and Jabs gets close enough for the roar as well. So fuck. USA, like after the pause, maybe it's just you want to blink, TP back. Got a little bit too greedy, continue farming, and okay. So this is a little bit reminiscent of the Arlington Major, I think. Liquid, no, it was actually TI, I think. I can't remember now, but the Liquid OG game where we had like an hour and a half pause. It definitely wasn't that long, but we had an hour and a half pause where OG were ahead, and they dropped the ball after that. So yeah. Let's see if there's another little crazy twist in this one.
Yeah, at least this one, some of the dropping the ball and the swing was happening before the pause, so it's not like it was full dominance from OG. But yeah, it completely throws you off, especially when it's your play who has the technical issue. So you get back in and Uragi's like, he's maybe not feeling fully confident in his setup, like whether it's his mouse, his keyboard, his PC having frame rate issues, like whatever it is, like it's something he may. The admin may just be like, hey, we have to play. Like, you have to deal with, like, low frame rate, whatever it is, play through it. So, something could be a little bit off for OG, and they've got to be careful.
Akodo?
He's going to turn.
Is the Alchemist strong enough to do this? All right, BKB is going to be expended. The team was starting to move on over, but I mean, with all that going on, they're able to find the T2 tower bottom nonetheless. It does still put the item on a bit of a cooldown. Global Sun's down as well for 30, so let's see what OG want to do.
Yeah, looks like for now, Talon, with Aegis expiring, are going to play things safe. They're very close to some, big items like the AC. The Beastmaster just finished off a Bloodstone, so full Spellcaster mode for Jabs, about to hit level 20 as well. This is a very, very farmed, scary Beastmaster here in the late game.
They're going to smoke. All right. When we spoke about the items from Talon, but Uragi, this Nullifier is important. He has the capability to be able to blow some heroes up and get rid of those auras. See what they're able to do, though. Running up into this high ground where there is already a ward set up is not going to be an easy task, but Ollie, that's an important person. They need to take the Silencer out. Ollie's going to be able to have enough time to react with the Global Silence, but Jabsy turns at BKB, stopping a decent chunk of the damage for the moment, so Uragi is going to be able to sidestep out of the fight, but meanwhile, Mind Control, he's stuck in the middle, where the Beastmaster damage is starting to ramp up, but Uragi wants to take Jabs out of the equation. Jab's going to be able to turn it back around with the BKB, but it will not matter. It's not enough to protect him and OG. All they needed was one fight. The momentum was starting to build from Talon, but they waited till they found their timings and they hit back.
Yeah, the Nullifier timing you highlighted ended up being pretty crucial there. They did a good job with the PA going in, soaking a lot of damage, and just, having BKB and Manta double defensive items allowed Uragi to kind of Phantom Strike out of there and then wait to reset and re-engage. So he soaked up a lot of spells there, and that just meant that those were spells not being thrown at the Iron, not being thrown at the left track, so those heroes had free reign throughout the team fight, and OG get rewarded with a double lane of racks. The positioning from Talon, playing around their ward just wasn't enough for them. now that they had no longer had the Aegis in hand and that this Nullifier was coming into play.
See if they're going to be able to mount a defense as well. And this is your last set of barracks down bottom here for Talon, so what's the call for them? Makoto is going to try and lead the charge. A decent chunk of damage onto Kid Track early on, but is he really going to be able to escape as Yuragi's hot on his tail? A forced off to reposition. Makoto's going to get out of danger, but 23 Savage, he's stuck inside the middle with the Nihilism just ripping him apart. There's no buyback for the Omni. They're going to have to do it 3v5. And meanwhile, Makoto is caught out underneath the tier 4 tower as well. Yuragi just jumping from one target to the next. Maybe Jabs is going to be able to turn it around though. But the damage, it's not enough. Yuragi shrugs it off under the cover of the BKB. And now Talon have to duck and run back to the safety of their fountain.
Yeah, Jabs is doing some big damage, but it's just not enough with some of his other cores just kind of melting there. PA has well and truly hit her late game power spike, and with Mega Creeps claimed at 23k gold lead, I just don't think there's any gas left in the tank for Talon at this point.
Maybe one last fight with only back up in 15. You're not going to have the BKB on Jab, so it's going to be very difficult for him to enter the middle. And well, Yuragi looking to add more kills to the tally as well. There we go. Onto Jabs they go with the Nihilism. It's going to try and protect him with the Global Silence, but already the damage that's being pumped out from BZM, it's going to send them all the way back towards the base. You know, the buildings are vulnerable that OG can look to claim. Throne exposed. It's now or never from Talon. You've got the Alchemist up in a couple of seconds, but you're going to be down, Jabs. Your main damage source at this stage of the game. Now Yuragi's going to turn for the cleanup. The G's are dropped, but they want to celebrate inside the fountain, the classic OG way. As they made him work for it in the end, but regardless, OG will be able to find the 2-0 to close out our day 2 of the group stages.
Yeah, I mean, good to